Great. Hey guys, how's it going? This is Canadian Off-Road 4x4. Today we are doing an install on my 2017 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road, and the install we are doing today involves a line output converter, which is a converter that will change your speaker inputs and give you RCAs to add amplifiers to your stock system. AudioControl line output converter, 6 channels, with AccuBase and equalizer as well. So it is a pretty good all-in-one system to have, and it's actually smaller than the LC7I AudioControl. And right now I have a kicker 2-channel line output converter in there, which cost me about 20 Canadian dollars, aka about 15 US, and a 4-channel pack, which was I think around the $20 as well. So we are changing all that out and going full out with a AudioControl one there now. So, and our first step is to tear the truck apart. So we're gonna start with tearing out the seats, and there we go. I got some more light. So I got my little impact. There's my 2-channel amp that I'm running. There's the 2 subs I'm running. And there's my Co-Star KO tearing apart the other side. So let's get to it. We got the seats unbolted. All 4 bolts are out. So now we gotta go underneath, lift the seat up, and you got a white connector there. You got a yellow one and a black one. Sorry, yeah, white on the left, white on the right, and then a darker white or grayish to unplug and unprong from the seat, and your seat comes out just like that. Seats are out. We now have to get the dash apart, so we can start getting the old line-up converters out and go from there. So it's quite easy to take the dash out on a 2017 Tacoma, aka 3rd gen Tacomas. All you have to do is start over here on the right, pull that off, gently pull that one off too so you don't break everything else, and then put that somewhere where you won't break it, and then I need some 10 mils. You know what those are? Something that we probably don't have anymore. Probably gonna suck. Oh, I said that on camera. That's okay. Could you go any longer? No. Okay. Or maybe. Step 2. Take out the 4 10mm bolts. I don't speak English. I don't speak English. I speak Canadian. Okay, let's take this one up. Why didn't we leave the seats in and do the dash first? That's my question. I know, it's my truck, my problem. So, that's the step 2 of taking out the dash. Quite easy, takes no time at all. Step 3, take out your radio, and then the fun begins of finding all your little accessories back here. So there's my 9-wire that we have around here. That's all Humpty Dumpty. Somewhere along here, oh, there's my old bad RCAs that we had. Somewhere down there, I believe, is my line-out converters. I don't know where they are anymore. Oh, I think I found one. I think we have a winner, but today we're just going to unplug everything and tear it all apart. So we're going to find them and unplug everything first. So, got the radio out, and all the plugins are there. So, somewhere we will find my line-out converters. And all we have to do is snip, snip, snip. A little detail background. I have a Hertz D-Power 4 4-channel amp running for all my speakers, and I'm running high energy 6x9 Hertz speakers in the front. In the rear, I got 6.5 energy speakers, and my dash speakers are the 2 1/4 Memphis. I think there's some kind of power line trim. I can't remember exactly what it is, but they're the only size available from Memphis Audio, and they actually pair up pretty good compared to those factory ones for sure. So finally found them. I had a fight with my 4-channel because apparently it wanted to dig itself all the way down into behind my buttons there. So here's my subwoofer little kicker. I've had the truck for over 2 years, or almost 2 years now, and I've had this probably for well over a year and a half. And then I just recently got this one. I'd say maybe almost a year on that too, or maybe just about. It's hard to say. And the biggest reason why I'm doing this upgrade is 1, I want better quality sound. 2, I've been really annoyed with the static I have in my radio, because with this sitting behind the dash, behind the radio and all that, I'm actually picking up a lot of interference. So that is probably the biggest reason, because it is quite annoying, and actually I think it kind of degrades the sound quality. And thirdly is the sound quality itself with this. I'm running 1100 RMS to these 2-inch, 10-inch, two 10-inch Type R subwoofers, and I cannot even put more than half gain on my amp, and it is quite a lot of gain too for such a little output converter. And I've heard great things about the audio controls, and at the same time, an equalizer is one of the things my 3GT Facebook group recommended, so I found one that's everything I need, and that's why I'm doing this install, or reinstall I should say, because these get you by pretty good, but you gotta think about the quality of what you're getting. There's lots of videos comparing cheap line-out converters to the audio control, and there's a night and day difference, and I have a feeling I will notice the difference big time with this. So we will keep going, and I'll keep you updated. So I want to give you guys a little car audio tip. 2 tips actually. 1, don't ever do any splicing of your factory harnesses. If you want to make things twice as easy, especially when it comes to making good connections and making things a lot simpler, go online, check Amazon, or go to the Metra site directly, find out what the harness numbers are, and get yourself some plug-and-play stuff. It will make your install 1,000 times cleaner, and you won't have to mess up the factory harness. Like if you look at this, here is both my line-out converters, and they're on the Metra harnesses, and there's your factory plugins. I had black tape there because I originally tapped, but then I got some plug-and-plays, and we're good there now. So do not tap, get some plug-and-plays, have 100% solder on it, or even if you're a butt connector guy, whatever, that's good. Second tip, buy a 9-wire. It is the most beautiful thing you will ever buy. This is a install bay Metra 9-wire, perfect little gadget. You can make your own if you want, but you know, you buy this, it's as thick as it's actually a little bit thicker, I would say, because here's an 8-gauge wire, and it's a little bit thicker, so I want to say it's probably around a 4-gauge, 6-gauge area. And it's easy to run, and it's all bundled up into 9 wires. So you've got your front and rear speakers, and then you got your remote wire that you run off of it. Perfect to get for any car audio, in my opinion. We have this running to my 4-channel amp, which it has to stay because it's for the speaker input. And we got a 9-wire for the audio control that we're going to run, because we need to run the speaker wires from that to the plug-and-play system. So it will work out really nice for us. my side done. I got my subwoofer RCAs out because I have a bass knob there, so I had to run a set of RCAs up there, and then this back to the amp. We had a lot of RCA lengths apparently. Apparently I did not need that much. He's ripping out his junk because he made a whatever that is. Hey, watch the light, man. I'm trying to watch. Are you done yet?
Yes.
Holy shit.
They're 17 foot. You don't need 17 foot for a
Apparently I need 3 feet, not 17 feet. Well, that's okay. You live and learn, right? At least we don't. But that's the model you're supposed to follow. But that's okay. We just like to stir shit up. Forgot to mention, this is an MRX M110 amplifier. I bought it off a table at Visions Electronics. Paid 200 US, 250 Canadian. She's pounding good. Hey, here's my Timmies. Can't forget the Timmies. Don't you judge my Timmies! So, right now, we have everything pretty much apart. Kale's figuring out where to snip wires. I am test fitting of how long we need for new RCAs because we are not running those 17 footers. So I have my stingers in here because this one is going to be a short one running from here to the audio control underneath the passenger seat. So I ran it through here. I put it underneath the amp so it kind of hold in place so it doesn't move. Tucked it in under this flap, and then I pushed the carpet down and fed it through along the center console. And then you come over here and we wrapped it around the same way, and then there's the audio control roughly, and that's how much we are gonna need. So I'm gonna say it's like a 6 footer at least minimum. Okay, so we have ripped out everything, cut all of our wires, our old ones, taken out the seats. So we are pretty much done for the night. It is 8 o'clock. We gotta go to the electronics store and get some new RCAs. I gotta get a small one, so we will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, guys. Me and Kale bright and early, 9 o'clock in the morning right now. We got our Timmies over there. We are tackling the truck right off the bat, starting the install. Right now, we are running an 8-gauge wire inside the cab for a blade fuse to run our direct power up to the line out converter and everything else that we want to run inside the cab. And also we are getting set up for our 9-wire and pretty much just figuring out how we're going to run everything slowly but surely. Kale just soldered on our connection for the blade fuse, running the main power so everything can run nice and clean to it instead of running 10 different wires into the battery there. So we will keep on chugging away here and update you guys as we go. So we are now officially running the 9-wire. He is ripping out my carpet like usual, like every other car audio goon. So he spent about 5 minutes trying to run that pretty blue wire through. He eventually got it. You just got to feed it down through here, and then if you got small enough hands, just start reaching up and find it. I always found it easier to go up because it just seems to go through the wires better because you kind of get caught on the plastic on the inside. But he doesn't listen. So what do you do, right? I'm just sitting here watching him struggle, so it actually works out pretty well. So, but you know, 9-wire is an amazing wire. I love it. So another update. We grabbed one of our new 6-foot RCA cables made by Stinger. Ran it along the side of the center console area, through the back and up to here, because I have a bass control knob that I use, so that will go to there, and then this will plug into the back of the line out converter, and then I'll have another 6-foot cable for this, my my mono amplifier amp for the subs, run from that to the other connector of my bass knob so that I can control the bass from it. And you definitely want one of those if you run any kind of sub. One of the best things to have so you can control how much bass you want to put in for each song and all the kind of music you play. You trying to break stuff?
Try not to.
You're always breaking stuff. So the next step will be to wire up our 9-wire because we ran all that through, and that's pretty much ready to go for that. So let's keep going.
So we just finished wiring up the 9-wire to the stereo. You got your
vehicle side, your deck side. Taped it up with the factory looking tape here, cloth tape.
Hockey tape.
Wired, or hockey tape is another word for it. All the way back into the dash. Looks clean, looks stock. Now we just have to wire up the Lionel converter side.
That's easy.
Very easy.
So we have officially wired it all up. We just got to run the ground and finish the power wire to it. Probably just going to run the ground somewhere underneath, isolated that way, and not have to worry about anything like that. Make it nice and short and sweet. We just got to tuck a few wires. This crimping tool that we found and bought on Amazon, these little style connectors are actually probably one of the best things I bought. They're very handy to have. I would recommend getting something like this so you have a secure connection to your connectors on your line output converter or any kind of connection you want. You can even use it possibly on some amplifiers, whichever you choose. Because when it comes to just putting in a speaker wire, as you crimp down on this, it actually frails the speaker wire copper and it just starts shredding and it will make a mess. So now we just got to plug everything back in on the dash, and behind the dash is pretty much done. Other than that, we're gonna get pretty close to tuning this thing up. We just got to run our RCAs next and keep on chugging away on that. So stay tuned. Howdy guys. We just finished up. It is all said and done. The 9 wires in. We took a little break here, and then we also fixed up my 4-channel amp here. We did some spade connectors on the speaker channels on the other 9 wire, as well as kind of made our own little spades as well, so we have a more secure connection to my amplifier because I was using just bare wire. These connectors are awesome. Like, I can't believe how clean this looks. So now we just gotta power it and we're done there. We put a ground off to the side here. We're gonna put some anti-corrosion stuff on there too to protect it more. Otherwise, very shortly. I'm getting really excited. We just gotta do the other amp, run some RCAs, boom, done. Should be awesome.
So we're going to cut down the RCAs, modify them, shorten them. They're 17 foot, so we just need probably about 10 inches each. So Corey marked them, just have to cut them down and hope they're long enough. So the fun's going to begin. So there's 3 wires here, red, black, and a ground, I think they're called. Who cares? But just make sure you got red with red, black with black, and make sure you got the right colors on both ends. This wire is very thin, so we just gotta watch out bearing the wires. How much pressure and everything you put on it.
I want Peter Pit after.
Peter Pit.
Peter Pit.
Peter Pit.
Yeah.
Peter Pit Pit.
Peter Pit 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 Pit. Pit. Piss off, Lou. Oh, now we're getting copyright from Mrs. Doubtfire.
So now we got a modified short antenna.
Hey guys, so we are finally done. We got everything wired up. I did some touching up on my 2-channel here. I had to put some more connectors on and whatnot. So, and the LCQ-1 and the 4-channel amp is done and ready. We are about to just turn down all the gains so nothing's really overkill. I really don't know how much better we can make that. I think that's pretty good. So before results, I had this on 4-channel, full high, I should say, on the filters. The levels were about half, about 5/8. Frequency is about 100 hertz. So yeah, about 5/8 gain on the amp on the 4-channel. And then we come over back here to look, and my subwoofer is running about 5/8 as well, almost on the notch after the half. And then my subsonic is all the way down, and I have the low pass filter on at about 70 hertz, I think, give or take, and I don't have any bass boost. So I'm going to turn all these down, and then we're going to turn on the system and make sure that everything's kind of plain. And then we will get to tuning. Hope for the best. So guys, that will conclude this video. We have everything in place. Everything was good. We only had one small problem where I think we may have cut our remote wire from our 4-channel amp when we took out our old line of converters. So we just had to run a remote wire from the out of the audio control to that amp, so we were using that great turn on feature. So far it is sounding awesome. It's a little bit different for sure right now because how I had it set up before was completely different, so I got a lot of tweaking to do on it. I'm not going to go through all that right now because it's going to be a big process of adjusting the equalizers, adjusting the gains. So far I've noticed when you have your audio control turned up all the way, it seems to want to create quite a bit of static in the radio, or sorry, not in the radio, in the speakers. So the best thing to do was turn it down till I didn't hear it very much. Perfect. Way better than the other ones, because the other ones gave me a constant high-pitched noise, especially being in behind the dash. So it's a lot more clearer for sure already. I just gotta adjust all my settings now and turn up my amps now, because I had the gain turned up a lot on the audio control and not so much on the amp, but it was creating too much hissing noise when I turned it all the way to 0, I noticed. So I turned down that, and then I'm turning back up the amp. So it's gonna be a lot of playing around. My co-star Kale pretty much did most of this work here. I did the odd little stuff and obviously watching and learning at the same time. But the tuning stage is gonna be my part of the work. So, but I hope this video helps and shows you guys a good chunk of what it's like to wire up a 3rd-gen Tacoma, what it's like to add in a 6-channel line output converter with AccuBase and an equalizer. So please do comment and like, and if any questions, don't be afraid to comment. Hey guys, well, it's been about 2 weeks so far since the install of the LCQ1. I've been taking my time with it and making sure it's properly tuned and everything sounds great, and making sure all my gains are set properly, and making sure there's no static, making sure there's no distortion, of course, as well. I will tell you about before and after how the LCQ1 has affected my sound system so far. So before, I had on my stereo the bass was turned all the way down. The reason I had the bass all the way turned down before is because my speakers were playing too much bass, and I couldn't really turn them up too much louder because the bass would just take right over. Even with the roll off, there was still a lot of bass coming through the speakers. So I cranked all that down, and then I turned my amplifiers up a little bit, and especially on the subwoofer amplifier, because this is getting signal input from the RCAs from the speakers. So it was taking away the bass on the subwoofers as well, and I like my bass, so I had to change that. So that has changed now. I have now taken the bass from -7, I believe it is, on the equalizer on the stereo, to back to flat 0. So now it's right in the middle like normal, and it is amazing how much better it sounds already. Right after that, finally patted down the tuning process of it all. For the first couple times it wasn't quite right, and then I figured it out. I've officially finally tuned it all up to my liking. So for the audio control itself, I have the gains all about 3/4. I have a little bit more in the rears because when you have both the doors open, you can hear the fronts. Then I couldn't hear anything from the rears, so I turned down the the fronts a little bit more, and then I turned the rears up until they started coming back into the volume so I could actually hear both sides. Once that was set, I was perfect. After that, I played with the subwoofer a little bit there. Got that up to about 3/4 as well. I didn't turn it up all the way because that's when the maximize lights started coming on, and I felt like there was no need for the subwoofer to be getting all that power from the LCQ1. Now for how affected the amps was my amplifier on my 4-channel there for the speakers. It is about, I left the frequency the same on the amplifiers, but the gain itself has went from the 5/8 that we originally said to about an 1/8, give or take. So I had it all the way down, and then I turned it up just a little bit, like probably an 1/8, not even that much, maybe like between the 0 and the first dot on the amplifier. So it has made a huge difference for how much power I actually put to these speakers, and the sound is perfectly clear as well. For the subwoofer amp, I had that a little bit at the same 5/8, a little over the half mark, but keep in mind, like I said, the bass was turned all the way down on my stereo, so I had to turn that up more to fix that problem. So, and right now I have my amplifier just under half a little bit, and I definitely have a lot more bass. And the biggest thing I've also noticed with the amplifier now is that I can actually go over half and actually will turn up the subwoofers more. Before, with the old kicker line-out converter, you couldn't even turn it up past where I had it originally because it wouldn't send any more power to the subwoofer. I would literally turn that thing almost all the way up and it wouldn't send any more power to the subwoofers. So that seemed to have made a difference, because as I actually turned it up, the subs actually play a lot more. It was quite surprising to me at first because before it didn't do that. And as far as the equalizer is, best thing hands down I've ever gotten. I'm really glad I didn't just go with the plain out line-out converter. I actually am really happy I went with this equalizer, because the equalizer has changed the entire system. For the speakers, for the front and rears, I have both just turned down the 125, so the lowest frequency they have on this LCQ1, so the 125 Hertz, I have turned that down to -2 maybe, -3. I have noticed though, as you turn it down more, it doesn't seem to do anything, so I don't know what the cause is behind that, but I turn it down a little bit and it does affect the bass of the speakers, and the speakers sound so much better without that low frequency note playing in the speakers. So it actually has made me able to turn up my speakers a little bit louder, so it is overall way better for that. The subwoofer is the fun one to play with, because I turned down the 100 Hertz, the 80 Hertz, but I turned up the 60, and the 53.5 is what they have on there as well. They also have a 32, but for a Type R, I really don't feel like playing that low of a note. I'm not a fan of that low of a note because it just doesn't sound good for me on these subs. So I turned up the 60 Hertz a little bit to about 1 or 2 notches, I guess, you know, a little bit up, and then as well as the 53 Hertz as well. So I gave it a little bit more boom, and it does make the subwoofer sound so much better. I'm actually very happy with them. So overall, this LCQ1 is definitely something you would want to buy. I recommend it highly. I have had no problems with it. At first, when I was tuning, I had my amplifiers turned up too much, and then that's where I was getting that whole static thing, as I said at the end of the install I just did. So that's why, like I said, I had to play with it some more and just turned everything down. Then I turned the LCQ1 up, and there's next to no hissing or anything like that. So now I'm going to show you guys a little bit before and after from a couple songs at the before and after as well between the line-out converters. So be sure to comment below, and I'll see you guys later.